Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, just some more Fan Fridays. This time, bring you guys the Eviolite Dartrix. That's right, Eviolite Dartrix is viable, and surprising enough, it is one of the best Eviolite Pokemon introduced in the 7th generation. Because you look at Pokemon like Marini, you'd expect that into Toxapex, it just gets absurdly tanky and would work really well for Eviolite, but no, Game Freak kept its stats really low. However, Dartrix, when it evolves into Decidueye, it kind of gains more offenses, so Dartrix is just sitting on Decidueye's tankiness, and then Eviolite takes it to a new level, gets access to the curse, so it can gain defenses. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. So we're going to see Tapu Koko with the discharge onto Dartrix, and that is wonderful levels of tankiness, and that's why we have Curse. So max out hit points, max out special defense, probably special defense nature if you're taking that little damage from a Tapu Koko, and then you Curse into insane amounts of defenses, and it looks like it's working out, especially against Tapu Koko. So not even a 5-hit KO, that's pretty ridiculous, and Dartrix is taking this one with confidence. Survive 3 hits, go for the Roost, survive Roost, thread in some curses, and eventually you're going to win. Now, the biggest question is, what are the move options on the Dartrix? You can Toxic Stall if you need to, might just go for the offenses, especially if you're going for the Curse. So that could be a pretty big Leaf Blade. Aerial Ace for evasion, maybe? I don't know, let's go and watch this. Now, we are going to be here for a while, a couple of turns of setup, but switches out Tapu Koko and goes into the Ash Cap Pikachu. I wasn't able to pay attention to the ball to see if that was an Ash Hack Pikachu or not, but it's kind of questionable. So that's going to be Dartrix on the Roost, healing hit points right there. Then Pikachu going to throw down the Thunderbolt. I mean, it's Electric Terrain Pikachu, and it's got nothing. Dartrix is fully paralyzed, though. However, it is getting stats, and it is working out. So we're going to see how much damage the Dartrix can kind of add on top of that. But the Thunderbolt isn't doing much. And then without the Electric Terrain, it's doing significantly less. So we have even more Curse coming through. I don't even know what else to say. Like, this is kind of it. We know the strat. We know what's happening, but that's just kind of a little bit of a stall out, you know? Every time Dartrix gets paralyzed, it's not like, oh no, hacks, it can lose the battle. It's, oh no, now we have to wait another turn before it starts killing things. Because it needs to get to that +6, I'd imagine. It needs to get the most stats possible to try to start finishing off opponents. Because unfortunately, Dartrix only has a 75 base attack. So, not able to get too much work done with that, except at like +4, +6. That's going to one-shot Pikachu. And if it one-shots the Tapu Koko, that's going to be amazing. Also, I just kicked my desk a little, so hopefully that wasn't too loud. And Dartrix now transitioning over to the Leaf Blade. And Pikachu just straight up goes down. What's the next response? Tapu Koko. Alright, Tapu Koko back in it, resetting terrain, trying to go for the big damage. Still not going to be enough. Still not really going to matter too much, though. As we get Dartrix to come in, it's going to tank, and then it's going to Leaf Blade. So that's Discharge from Tapu Koko. Nothing. And then Leaf Blade. Is it a one-hit KO? Oh, it is not. Was that 6 turns of Curse? Because it was 5, then potential. But yeah, Dartrix not going to put out insane amounts of damage. But at the same time, it doesn't matter. Like, it's an Eviolite Pokemon that's unkillable. As long as you do more damage to the opponent than the opponent is doing to you, you will win Pokemon battles. And also, Dartrix has Sustain. So none of these hits really matter, and then Dartrix is able to finish off Tapu Koko whenever it wants. And then Tapu Koko goes for the Discharge. It's going to hit pretty solid onto Dartrix, and then Dartrix with the Roost. Alright, once full hit points, which is understandable depending on the last Pokemon that the opponent brings in, you want to be as high of hit points as possible, get the finishing blow, make sure you survive, and then you win. Ooh, now Tapu Koko throws down the Nature's Madness. Weird that he was holding on to it for so long, because yeah, that is going to be the best option. It doesn't really change the outcome of the game, it just makes the game take longer once again. Because it can only get like that one big hit for the one time. And then Incineroar comes in. So what is Dartrix going to do to Incineroar? Ooh, against Blast Burn. Yikes, that's going to be a lot of damage. And it is enough to take down the Dartrix. Understandable. Because that's just, yeah. Nidoking comes in, though, and Nidoking is going to be a pretty solid response to the Incineroar. Has Earth Power, just, I guess, Scarf or Natural Outspeed Sheer Force, super effective. Incineroar goes down. And yeah, Nidoking is a really strong Pokemon. Like, whenever it shows up, especially on Fan Fridays, we can see it put in work with excellent coverage and just excellent coverage like that. Let's go on to the next Decidueye battle. And now it's time to go against legendaries, and this time we have a Drifblim. Oh no, that's so much extra filth right there, because it's going to be Dartrix with potential evasion, stockpile, maybe amnesia on top of that just to get more special defense since you're gaining defense already. Drifblim matching up against the Lunala. This is going to be close, because Lunala, I don't think it can one-shot the Drifblim, just a little too much bulkiness on the Drifblim right there. And then Citrus Berry is going to activate, and then you can get the speed boost for the Unburden. So that's going to be interesting. And then you just minimize, outspeed, minimize, miss, baton pass. Done. That's how you play the Drifblim. So barely surviving. Almost going down to the Moongeist Beam. That is going to be the Citrus Berry. Now you have Unburden. That extra health doesn't matter. And Drifblim actually opts for the stockpile instead of the minimize. It really depends on how you want to play the game. Because at this point, you could, if you wanted to, minimize, hope for a miss, and then call it good right there. But that is not going to be how this one breaks down, because, yeah, if you minimize and it doesn't miss, now you don't have anything. So at least Dartrix now coming in with extra special attack, extra special defense, and the opponent goes for the Phantom Force, which is kind of an awkward decision. And then Lunala throws down the Phantom Force. That's going to be not a lot of damage onto Dartrix. The Eviolite just makes it bulky, and that's so good to see. So now Dartrix at +2, doubled onto those defenses with the free curse, and now it's just set up City. And, ooh, Z-move. I'll say it can't be a Z-move on Dartrix because it has the Eviolite. So Z Moongeist Beam at +1 to the full special defense Dartrix. How much is this never-ending nightmare going to do? My guess is not an insane amount. So that's going to come in. That's going to do damage after a long animation, and it was solid, but Dartrix could have survived that, even without the stockpile, pretty well. Like, that's Lunala's big hit Gambit move, and it did nothing. So yeah, Dartrix has the bulk, guys. It's pretty awesome. I'm actually really happy, because I remember when I did the video while I was looking into all the 7th generation Pokemon gave Eviolite, like, Dartrix might actually be the best Eviolite Pokemon. Has the curse, gets tanky, the stats are there, it gets sustain, and it's not a ghost type, so it doesn't get any drawbacks. Yeah, let's do it. See how that one plays out. Actually, there are drawbacks. It has like a bajillion weaknesses. But if you're not facing those weaknesses, or if you're set up before those weaknesses occur, like that's why you just bring Drifblim. You get +2 stockpiles or an evasion boost. Super effective hits don't matter anymore. So Galio comes in for the Sunsteel Strike though. So it looks like he can't really make up his mind. It's like stab Sunsteel Strike or super effective Rock Slide for pretty much the same amount of damage. Now, you do have the chance to flinch, so maybe Rock Slide is the better option. And once again, it's not like, oh no, flinch is going to cost this game. It's, oh no, flinch is going to make this take longer, because Dartrix needs to set up pretty hard. Like Solgaleo, you have to have max to hit that Solgaleo. As Incineroar comes in, yeah, you need to have max to hit the Incineroar as well, but Dartrix is going to gain Curse, which means Incineroar's Flare Blitz is not that strong of an option. And Darkest Lariat is going to be more damage, ignoring those defenses. But Incineroar comes in, throws down a quick little Flamethrower. Surprisingly enough, Flamethrower also going to be like more damage than a Flare Blitz, or probably like slightly less, but no recoil. Because it's only +1 on the special defense, but plus a lot on defense right now. Roosting back up to full after scouting the Incineroar. And then we're going to see Darkest Lariat. So ignoring that defense boost is going to be the best way to go. But now it's just raw Eviolite bulk. No defense investment, and Dartrix still tanks it like a freaking man. As Curse comes into play. So yeah, we're just going to be here for a while as it's Curse set up. Man, like that's one of the things about like setup strats, is setup strats are awesome. Until you realize you have like 10 turns of, you know, 1 turn setup, 1 turn healing, maybe 2 turns of healing for 1 turn of setup in some situations. So you have to like double down on the roost, make sure you get enough to survive, and then all that's gonna happen. So it makes things awkward, but it's like, yo, it's a Dartrix sweeping people. You gotta do what it takes, and that's why status moves exist. Not every Pokemon gets access to all those status moves. So what I'm gonna do, wait, Pluck? Never mind. He's going for, wow. Okay, I was about to skip ahead until like Dartrix goes +6 and then tries to take things out, but the Pluck, that's new. And that's also pretty strong because a lot of things are running Confusion Berries right now, and a lot of things are running just Citrus, so if you could steal a berry effect, I mean, there's also a few Pokemon, like, running the, Boost Berries. Like, you steal any of that with a Pluck, that's just bonus on top of bonus. Like, that's about as good as it gets. Free healing while doing insane amounts of damage. So now Dartrix kind of pacing this one out. I guess you could just finish off the Incineroar because it's the most threatening thing. So Galio, Lunala, they're doing absolutely no damage right now. Incineroar, there's the Flare Blitz. So going to go for a little bit of super effective big damage before it goes down. The opponent actually making a good play right there. Understanding that, yeah, I'm probably going to get finished off this turn, so I might as well try to do the most with the Flare Blitz because that recoil doesn't matter anymore. And that's it. So, interesting. There's like a lot of ways. There's like a lot of interesting interpretations and ways to break down this battle, honestly. Because, yeah, you want to get the Incineroar off because we know these guys, these fools, the legendaries, they're not doing anything right now. Dartrix with the Roost. Damage scouted, and nothing. And that's going to be a Sunsteel Strike from Solgaleo. But, yeah, it's not going to really contribute much more. Boom. No damage. And Dartrix throws down Leaf Blade. Alright, so there's Leaf Blade damage on Solgaleo. It's okay. And Solgaleo with a Rock Slide. So that's just kind of it right there. Just kind of throwing... Solgaleo's just throwing the kitchen sink. That's what the opponent has done this entire battle. It's like, Lunala, Z-move, Solgaleo, super effective hits, neutral hits, Incineroar, please, something, kill it. He even thrown down the Giga Impact, which is actually the same damage as everything else he's been using. But the Leaf Blade against a resisted hit on a legendary Pokemon is not getting much done. No crit right there. It looks like the damage was going down a little faster. It was close. It was close on that KO. Leaf Blade has high crit ratio, so that could actually be really nice to have with the Dartrix. And Solgaleo going to be withdrawn. Understandable. Lunala comes in. But I mean, not even understandable. Like, you just lose Solgaleo and you just do what it takes. The only thing I could take down this Dartrix right now is a crit. And I don't even think a crit would take it down from full health. So, Psychic from Lunala. A little bit of damage. Dartrix now transitioning over to the Pluck after that Leaf Blade. Big damage right there. Pluck was only like 60 base power, I thought. It's not too much damage. Then Leaf Blade's just going to be a lot. So Special Defense drops. There goes the one advantage in Special Defense that Dartrix had. Doesn't matter because Lunala gets finished off. And then that is going to be an interesting battle with an interesting end. And Solgaleo pretty much dies immediately. So I'm really sitting here. I'm trying to figure out, like, yo, competitive usage for Pluck. That's awesome. And the opponent forfeits because there's nothing else to do. So we got to see two ways that this strat can be run. You go Drifblim into Dartrix to make it unkillable, or you just run Dartrix and it matches up against really high damage Pokemon. Like, that's the thing. Like, that special defense tankiness is absurd. Imagine if, like, if it got more stats in other places, like, oh, only has 60 or 50 on the special attack, or less speed, and then more in defenses, or more in hit points. That would have been ridiculous. So, yeah, Eviolite Dartrix holds up. That's awesome to see. So, you guys enjoy the battle. I'll see you in the next Fan Fridays.